Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're getting your week off to a good start. Hope you had a good weekend. Thanks for the support on the channel. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, leave a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out the links in the description and the channel for any videos you may have missed recently. All right, so Jake Hamilton had another interview with Zack Snyder, and for the most part of the interview, they were talking about Army of the Dead. It's coming out very soon. It comes out, I think, yeah, this Friday, right? In theaters, select theaters, but it's actually about 600 theaters around the country. So they were talking about Army of the Dead most of the time, and of course it comes out the next week on the 21st on Netflix. But towards the end of the interview was maybe one of the most interesting parts. I mean, it's always interesting to listen to Zack talk about his movies, right? But because the Restore the Snyderverse movement is, pretty much just taking over, it's following in the footsteps of Release the Snyder Cut movement. Of course, that has to be talked about, or you would expect it to come up in an interview. And Zack had some interesting things to say about Warner Brothers and the potential, what could happen in the future. And let's just listen to what he had to say about Warner Brothers and their point of view on, their side of how they feel about his Snyderverse.
We don't really know whether or not to continue to feel hope because of some of the comments that Warner Brothers has made lately, sort of like, oh, Zack got to complete his trilogy. What is your, we didn't want to give up hope with the Snyder Cut before, so we don't want to give up hope now. So what would you say about, because we're kind of in this weird gray area, what should we maintain hope?
Well, I mean, I guess I would think about it this way. Yes, Warner Brothers has been aggressively anti-Snyder, if you will. And that's, what can you say? What can I say? Like, they're not interested in my take. But I would also say that, they certainly weren't interested in, I would have said originally in my take on Justice League. They certainly made decisions about that. And I love the characters and I love the world, and I think it's an amazing place to make a movie it's glorious IP. So there's that. I don't know what what could be done as you go forward, other than I think this, the fan movement is so strong and the fan community is so, the intention is so pure, and I really have huge respect for it. And I just, I would hope that, cooler heads would prevail with them, and that, they would see that there's this massive fandom that wants more of that, but who knows what they'll do.
I choose hope, sir. Mr. Snyder, since I was a kid, you've been nothing but.
So that's what he had to say. They're just wrapping up the interview after that, and closing it off. But that's what he had to say about Warner Brothers, and it's pretty interesting. I mean, if you've followed this whole movement, then Zack Snyder has always been very respectful of Warner Brothers. He's never really said, he's never badmouthed them and come out and said, showed anger towards them publicly, or he's expressed his experience with them and things that were seemed like they were very frustrating and stressful, which is obviously, that's obvious because we know what happened to the movie, but he's never said anything bad about them. The way they've treated him compared to the way they've treated other directors, and just the situation as a whole. And like he said, they've been very aggressively, he said, anti-Snyder. They have no interest in his point of view when it comes to this universe, which I don't think they know what point of view they want. They just are trying desperately to copy Marvel, and it's not going to work in their favor. But I like his comment about, he hopes that cooler heads will prevail, and that, like he said, he doesn't know what's going to happen in the future. He might know more than he's saying, but I feel like since the movie has come out, he's been pretty honest about what's been, kind of how Warner Brothers feels about it. Sorry about the background noise. My kids are getting on each other's nerves. But, so, yeah, he's been pretty honest about which, I mean, it's obvious, again, it goes without saying how they feel about him, how they've treated him in his movie, and how the whole thing has gone down with Justice League. And I mean, even before that, you know, he's been in a battle with Warner Brothers since making Man of Steel, and I think it's just gotten worse and worse over time. But like he said, hopefully cooler heads will prevail, and who knows what will happen in the future. He has said before he's not going to discourage the fans from showing their support, but he's still going to be honest. And, you know, I have mixed feelings about it. Of course, I'm going to always support Zack Snyder being part of the DCEU, and I'm always going to restore the Snyderverse, but I want it to be in the right conditions for Zack and Deborah and their whole team and the cast and the crew and everyone involved. I don't want him to go back to this toxic, you know, unsupportive, just stressful situation with the studio. Like, if say leadership changes, if the rumors about Emmerich are true, about him being out soon or looking for a job or whatever, about leaving soon, if a new person comes into that position who has the authority to make the decision to allow him to restore the Snyderverse, to continue the Snyderverse on HBO Max or whatever it is, then I hope it's, you know, I hope if that person comes along, hopefully it's, you know, the opposite interaction and opposite experience from what was happening with Toby Emmerich. Which hopefully Jason Kilar would be aware that, you know, obviously if Emmerich doesn't get his contract renewed, if he is on his way out, then hopefully you wouldn't hire someone with those same kind of mentality or intentions toward any of their, you know, how all of this went down. You wouldn't want history to repeat itself, hopefully. So if someone else does take Emmerich's place, hopefully it's a new page, a new leaf, you know, turning over a new leaf and just treating people better and not you know, playing favorites or favoritism because this person's a Marvel director and they get full creative freedom, and, you know, we're just going to ignore the fans' outcries and their full-on support for this universe that this man has created and started. And then, you know, they'll be more enthusiastic about supporting our other stuff, you know, like Suicide Squad and whatever else they're going to do. So hopefully it moves in a positive direction, and hopefully Zack, you know, because if say they do give in and they're forced by AT&T again, no, you guys are going to continue the Snyderverse in one way, shape, or form. And Zack is a part of it, whether it's, you know, maybe not a Justice League movie, but maybe it's a Batman series or something. But he's involved. Say they get forced into doing it by AT&T. I don't, you know, that would not necessarily be the best situation. Again, if it's just history repeating itself, then I don't want them to be a part of that. So I feel like if it does happen, it needs to be with, you know, under new leadership and under the right conditions with the right atmosphere and the amount of support that they deserve, and not just a constant battle. So, let me know what you thought about Zack's comment, and make sure to support Army of the Dead. Netflix is obviously showing huge support for them, and I'm happy about that. And they're really, you know, excited about this movie and putting it out there. So thanks, guys, for watching. Check out the links in the description. Leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you next time.